Hi everyone, welcome to Amaranth. These are general messages for the collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Jupiter placements. Let's get into it. So the first card you have for today, Gemini, is the Crow energy. And so rightly your sign, this is the air elemental symbol over here. Crows are messengers. There's a lot of, communication, lots of chats. You could be talking to a lot of people. Group communication, it just could be one-on-one communication. But, Gemini, it's your typically is the third house energy, right? If this is ruled by Mercury, there's a lot of mental chatter, sharpness, intelligence, especially with this Crow energy. There is communication. Crows are also very known to have what do you call the etch memory. They remember things for a long time. And if you see the picture over here, there is this crow which is sitting on a beautiful gemstone. This is a treasure that it's guarding, or it has under its feet and it doesn't even know about. It could go either ways. Either there is a treasure that you're already guarding, you're sitting over and watching, or this is some treasure that you're sitting over and you don't even know that it's a treasure. So you could be in either of these two situations, but I feel that there are opportunities here, Geminis, that, are going to be very positive, lucrative, and I feel that you're going to be able to spot that before anybody else does. So there is an opportunity which is just like here lurking around you, and it's for you to, take notice of that and tap into that. So it's a moment where, or it could be that, something comes up in a conversation and you immediately jump on an opportunity and it opens a new door for you. So in the sense that you're able to turn small, it's like, you having the Midas touch, you're able to turn things into bigger moments for you, turn the ordinary things into magical moments for you. And why not? Because your sign, your archetypal Gemini, collective Taurus energy is hosting the planet Uranus right now, which is a planet of breakthroughs, moving through obstacles, transmuting energies, so any kind of obstacle that you have, you will actually turn it into something positive for you. That's what Uranus energy does. So an alto breakthrough moment, unique ideas, brilliant ideas will just spontaneously come to you. Some of them might even surprise you. So, and also your ruler Mercury is retrograding right now in the house of Cancer, which is your neighboring house. And if you have a Gemini ascendant, which means Cancer energy becomes your second house of resources, gains material resources. The second house energy is all about land, money and how you make money and things like that. So there could be some things. And because Mercury is retrograding, there could be some things that come up from the past in regards to money matters. Maybe it's like payments that you have made in the past, they resurface. Or it could be something that you had bought in the past could resurface, a bill receipt and things like that could resurface. Maybe some investments you have made, you're revisiting it. Or, so there's a revisiting energy with your ruler retrograding in the sign of Cancer. So, and also Cancer is the house of intuition and, our inner world emotions and all of that. So you have to be very mindful of what you say and do, especially when it comes to emotions and impulsivity. You'll have to give your words and actions a second thought, because of the retrograde energy of your ruling planet. Also because it's retrograding in your second house. So be mindful of your spending urges. Sometimes you want to spend, sometimes you want to binge buy and things like that. So you'll have to be very mindful of where you spend your money into. This could also be, revisiting how you make money, like your workplace. Are you really liking a workplace? Things like that could come up, like in the ways you make your money. You could be revisiting those money avenues or your place of work. You could be switching that up So just be mindful, because retrograde energies causes us to be impulsive. So you have to be very mindful about anything that you write in regards to your workplace or anything to do with teams or places where that help you bring money in. Be mindful of that. Now, crew energy is also connected to ancestors. It's like paying your due respects to ancestors and things like that. So you could be working around those ancestral themes for some of you. But coming to the main theme over here, if you look, this crow is guarding something. So this could be treasures that you already have. For some of you, you could be uncovering that. Maybe you've lost it. Maybe you've put it in places so safe that you couldn't find it yourself. So you could be uncovering those. Like, oh, I forgot this $1,000 over here, or I forgot this jewelry over here, and now you're finding it back. For some of you, that also could be happening. Or you suddenly remember where you put things away that you were not able to remember. For some of you, that could be. But this could be opportunities that help you make money in the future. Like, you come in contact with somebody, you network with somebody that opens another door of a side business or ways to grow your business. Maybe this was a person that you knew in the past. So all contracts renewing or getting bigger or advanced or more clients and things like that would also be working out in your favor. For some of you, this could also be, an energy of late night, like, journaling things, your ideas or dreams, especially in the wee hours when there's calmness and, that's when the crows come up, right? You will see majority crows like either in the morning hours or in the nighttime and you can hear them when there's more silence outside. So for some of you, this could be like an animal totem that could be, sending you messages, some synchronicities, because crows are also messengers. So you could be receiving some downloads, from the cosmos, from your angels, from the universe, supporting you, your ideas, and, sending you some ideas. So just be mindful of that as well. You can pin it down. If you have some unique ideas or flashes, just pin it down. It's just the crow trying to communicate with you. For some of you, this could be old things, coming to the forefront and you moving it forward. Like, it could be revisiting, renegotiating deals. Maybe they were old deals that you had passed or just closed down and now you're visiting those. That's just for some of you. But in general, this is like a very sharp energy. Crews of very sharp energy, high intuitive. So you will also be feeling that kind of, crew energy is all about speaking up as well, with a lot of courage because you're very intuitive, so you know what's going on. So you might be seeing things that people are not able to catch or understand, like how are you picking up? So picking up some hints and speaking up can also be a theme play out for you. So it's a shifting energy. Crows bring changes and shifts. So you'll probably see some shifts like that in your own personality, or it could be in your environment around you. Communication will be at the forefront and very important. So pay attention to what you're hearing and what you're saying. Because, in those communication, in those conversations, could be that opportunity that you might hit it big with. Yeah, and also because, air energy is also about processing. So a lot of processes, you could be shifting things, change of processes, change of, and also a lot of research work also could come to the forefront for you. The next card you have, Gemini, is number 30, and it says, law is not justice. Further, it says, rules that are not there. So the picture is a little bit kind of, trying to look for justice, answers, questions. There's mushrooms on this on Alice's table. I'll just call her Alice because that's what the deck is. And she's sitting on a table full of coins, and she has a small, cute little weighing scale that she's trying to weigh things on. There's coins in that weighing scale. There's mushrooms on her desk, and she's thinking about something, I feel that Gemini, of course, when it comes to scales, there is some kind of an imbalance or some kind of a unjust, unfair situation that you might be working through, and the thing about this energy is that, you know, you might be looking into situations um, in regards to some kind of a rule or a law, maybe at office or your place of work or business or something like that, that might feel like, it's not fair or it's too harsh or it's too rigid. Could be a contract that you have signed, could be certain rule that you're defining that you have to follow or something like that. So you kind of questioning. And, I read some place that people that write the rules are not the ones that enforce the rules. Or you can say it the other way around. People that enforce the rules are not the ones that are writing the rules. So these are two different things. So if you are feeling that something's unfair or you need to question higher authorities, do that or research it or talk to other people, because sometimes people that enforce the rule don't even know how it was written. Sometimes they don't even know why it was written. So there is something like, just don't believe that somebody say, just don't sit down. I mean, of course you have to believe that somebody said it's the rule, it's the rule. Blood, you shouldn't worry about that noise. So what I'm saying is that if you feel that something's not, doesn't add up, then, question the authority, talk to people, get more advice, get more legal advice. You can read up a few, research a little bit on that subject if it feels, unfair to you. But the caution here is, don't start arguing until you have data or until you have fully understood what it means to get into this kind of situation or some kind of escalation. Even if you have to escalate it, then do it calmly, because, your Mercury is your ruler, which is retrograding, and that causes a little bit of it, your fogginess in regards to your finances or some kind of bills. And it might trigger your emotion because it's in the house of Cancer, right? Which becomes your second house if you are a Gemini ascendant, and even otherwise. So don't get impulsive over things. If it feels unfair, then do the calculations, talk to people, get your receipts, get the data, and then you can, contest it or things like that. So be more prepared on your side before you get into disputes and things. This could also be in regards to some bills, that you're trying to cancel, or some contracts that you're trying to revisit. It could be at your workplace, some kind of policy that you're trying to question. It could be something in the external world around your house, or rules, or consumer rights, or protections, and rights of this, that, who knows, it can be different for each one of you. But the underlying thing is that you don't have to just buy into it, You have the wise crow is the wise, the boldness, right? You're not powerless out here with the crow energy with this. You know the truth. You're being fair and square. And that's another thing with this energy. When the skills are in question, you have to come from a fair perspective yourself. So you need to know the truth. You need to be coming from a space of truth and honesty and fairness and all of those things, right? So in your heart of hearts, you have to be fully fair about the situation before you go and contest it. You can't be having negative emotions or sentiments or ideas or intentions, and then you go fight for fairness. It's not going to work. So if this is in regards to some claim of yours that was unpaid, or somebody took charge too much, or there's a, you got charged unnecessarily, if you see something like that crop up, then you can always address it coolly and calmly. Now, I also feel that for some of you, this could be renegotiations, which might feel a little bit unfair. So you're trying to renegotiate, you're trying to see how you can, better the terms and conditions. It could be in regards to renewals, maybe lease renewals, or, it could also be in regards to the fee that needs to be revisited, some extra fee got added, or it was in the fine print and you didn't even know about it and you got charged for it, and a lot of things happen at that. So that's going to be the theme for you in the next few days, that you have to look carefully at the charges at the fine print, what you get. Maybe you got checked out or at the store, maybe you got double charged for an item. So those things are going to be, you'll have to be very mindful about that. And for others of you, I do see that you're trying to see how you can make situations fair. And the crow energy is all about having the courage and boldness to speak up. So if something doesn't feel right, you feel free to speak up for it. And I feel that, things will work out because you've spoken up, you followed, you have the data backing it. Then if something seems unfair in your personal life, then you can always, draw the boundary, draw the line, and, you can talk about it in a gentle way. Like if you, for example, if you've been, footing the bill for people, you can gently say it, like, oh, I've been doing it, can somebody pick up the tower? Can somebody pick, and things like that, you find your own ways to communicate that message. So if it's at a personal level, you need to also be mindful of that. But the silver lining here with this energy, Gemini, for you, I feel that if something was unfair, I feel that you will be able to turn that around in your benefit. You saw the crow is sitting on something, and that energy is about turning nothing into something. So if this is an unfair situation, you will turn it around and make it a blessing for your own self. That could become a hidden treasure of yours. And the last card for today, Gemini, you have is number 13, and it says goals. This is a message from universe, and it further says, progress is positive and personal goals will be achieved. So here's your confirmation that things are going to work out for you. In the last card, we saw that there were golden coins that were sitting on a desk. So golden coins are the awards. That's your abundance. That's the success. And you have achieved it by being persistent, by putting in the work day in, day out. It's less about a luck, sudden strokes of luck, and more about your efforts that you have created this success for you. And with the crow energy, there are opportunities which are coming towards you, and you're going to be able to tap into that too, and I feel that those will help you achieve your dreams and your goals. Because you have been putting in the work, you've been disciplined with that, and now with the crow energy, there is an opportunity that you can create magic with. So just keep doing whatever you are doing, and you're doing it really well. You've been patient all along. So whatever you have in mind, your goals, your personal goals, your material goals, everything is manifesting for you. Things are moving forward, things you are accomplishing, you will be accomplishing. And because there is scale, so things will even balance out. You just have to come from in, and you have to make sure that you're coming forward with clean intentions, and for coming from your higher self, your higher self-aligned actions and intentions, right? That's all you need to ensure that things are being fair and square, and you're doing it fairly. Each and every action and step you take is coming from a place of being fair and square with yourself and everybody else. So Gemini, those were your messages, and hope they resonated with you. Now moving on to the sign of Libra. So the first card you have for today, Libra, is the dragonfly. And of course, this is, again, a air element on top, which is so rightly so. Even Gemini got the air element. So beautiful energy out here. Dragonfly, it's, against a blue triangle. Looks like a stained glass that it's relaxing on, and it has beautiful wings. It's a beautiful energy out here. Libra, for you, 7th house energy is all about, people balancing scales, making situations fair and square, and things like that, right? Drama-free, no drama. It's like you guys know how to balance situations out, when to leave, when to talk, and, all of that. And with the dragonfly, the thing is that it is a water plus a air insect, or a fly, I would say a fly. It lives in water for a long time, and then as soon as it learns how to fly, it just flies. So over here, it's flown from the water, and it's out here on a piece of glass, right? This triangle, it's on a blue glass. So this combines the water element plus the air element, which you are. Some of you could have water placements, which are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces are the water elements. Some of you could have those placements, but this could also be, your own intuition, your own emotions, and the way you look at the world, your perception, and dragonfly, this being out of the water and on this glass, it's like this dragonfly has learned how to fly, right? And air is always a lighter element. Water is a more heavier and colder element, which means that you're moving from a emotional to a more lighthearted space. So there is definitely a shift in energy, or dear Libra, for you, where you're moving from heavier, emotional, colder situations into lighter, brighter, warmer situations. Why? Why is that shift happening? I feel it's because of your perception, the way you're seeing things. And I can see why, because, Aries is your opposite sign here, Libra. Aries, right, your partners. Aries and Libra are partners in the zodiac circle. And Neptune is in the sign of Aries. It's in retrograde. And whenever a planet is in retrograde, especially a planet like Neptune, which causes illusions, that might be playing out for you. Some kind of an illusion theme might be playing out for you. Now, it could be in your partnerships, or it could be in your career house, which is your 10th house. Why I say that? Because your 10th house is the house of Cancer, right? And that's where Mercury is retrograding. And when Mercury retrogrades, it always causes some kind of a mental fog or confusion. So you have two energies that are clouding your judgment. One is the Neptune in Aries going retrograde, and second is Mercury. Mercury is the ruler of your sister air sign. So there could be some illusions either playing out in your house of partnerships, which is your people, social circle, or it could be in your job sector, in a career or business sector. Which means that there's something which you're not seeing clearly, and all you need right now is clarity. Right, so you will need to dig up a little bit, do a little bit more research, and once you get to the bottom of things, once you see things for what they are, get the clarity, you will be able to leave that situation, and that's what's going to make you feel more lighter and more easy. It's going to make you feel more easy. You'll be able to breathe more. Because as dragonfly is out there, right? It's hard. So I feel that if in your place of work or in your business, if things are going on, some kind of situation, some kind of a deal policy, or commitments and all of that, and people are just committing left, right, and center without even thinking logically or practically that how are they going to make it happen, or how is that even possible in the remotest sense, then that's the situation that you need to pay attention to. You need to get more details, you need to research up a little bit, talk to people, get to the bottom of things. Similarly in your partnership house, or it could be it's even in the first house. If you are a Libra ascendant, then you probably have to look into your sixth house, and it's your seventh house of partnerships, right? So which is Aries, and that's where Neptune is retrograding. So that's the house of partnerships. So if there is some kind of a confusion in regards to your social circle, people that you interact with, and could be even in your family, could be in your place of work, especially when you're dealing with people, right? Relationships, any kind of relationship. There could be something, a situation that's unclear or foggy, or something that appears different than what it actually is. So I feel that once you get to the bottom of that, and things might actually open up and you will see the reality. Either people are going to act up a certain way and that's going to answer your question, or you're going to hear something through the grapevine, or you're going to just have, while talking with people, something's just going to come up and that will answer your question and give you the clarity that you were actually looking for in your mind. So when you see the situation what it is, it'll be easy for you to make the right decision. For some of you, I feel like you might even backtrack from that situation. So I just feel it's just a matter of getting that clarity. Now, for some of you, because dragonfly lives in the watery areas and wetlands, some of you, those ecosystems, badlands, dragonfly, or the storm, you might be seeing a lot of these. You might be in places where you're seeing a lot of dragonflies, might also be of significant. But I feel for the most part, this is like you just being able to see the reality of situation and backing off from that is going to make you feel much lighter. It's like, I'll give an example. Like, for example, in a house, you're trying to buy a house. That's my favorite example to give. And, there's some problem with the house. People will just put so much of lights and, glossy stuff to make it appear like so beautiful, but there might be a situation that's underlying or underneath it that they're trying to cover up or hide or get away with. And you're like, oh, stop these lights, put it off. And then you see the real picture, what's going on. So for something like that, things might appear more glossy or more vibrant, and all the shimmers is not gold, is something that you will need to pay attention to. That really applies to this dragonfly energy. So if something like that pops up, if you have to change direction, do so. Dragonflies just move, they change the direction. They don't just stick to one place. And so it's that energy of you shifting gears if something does not appear right or you are under an illusion. The only thing is for you, Libra, which you don't need to be reminded of, just be very graceful about the move or the change in direction or the backing off or closing deals and things like that. Be very graceful about it and don't create drama. The next card you have, Libra, is number 12, and it says lead the way. Further, it says be a leader, show others how it's done. You can help others. Oh, this is a beautiful energy for you, Libra. So there's a lot of animals, birds. Toru is here. There is a lot of birds. There's magpie, there's a pelican, and there's a fox that's looking at you. This is you here, Alice. Yeah, Alice is you, Libra. All these animals are looking towards her, and Alice, which is you, just sitting in the middle of it, right? That's the calmness. You're the center. People are looking up to you for guidance, for leading the way, So I do feel here, Libra, this is a moment for you to step up, to lead the way. And why not? Because your house of connections, leadership is 11th house, which is a house of Leo, and that's where Jupiter is right now. 11th house, a house of networking, friends, communities, and all of that. So Jupiter in that area is going to, encourage you to step up, to lead by example, in a gentle way. And even if there are some kind of disagreements or arguments, and it could be around any network, whether it's a professional network or personal network, if there are people or situations that are not aligning with you, you still lead by example by not making a drama out of it, It's like you step up to get the clarification, to set up the meeting, to have people talk to each other, to sort things out, to get to the bottom of things, to do the research work, It's like you are the person that sets up the meetings in boardrooms so that people can communicate and all doubts and questions are answered, right? And I feel that this energy is asking you to take that lead, before anybody else does. Because, when you take the lead, people kind of look up to you to be that person who will step up, who will take the right actions, who will organize the meetings, who will write the documents, who will give the right connections, who will talk to the right people, who will word things out and things like that. So here, these different animals are the different kinds of people that we interact with on a day-to-day basis. They're all different in their personalities. They're all looking up to you. You could be the mediator. That's what the typical archetypal Libra energy is, to be the mediator, to bring people together, to start the conversations, to start groups, to start meetings, professionally or personally. You could be leading at community campaigns. You could be leading in boardrooms. You could be the leader who's giving directions to people. So definitely a good time for you to step up for community initiatives. You could be working as part of neighborhood groups or teams. There's also a lot of volunteering energy. This is like giving back to society by creating organizations and groups that will benefit the society in some way. So yeah, it's a good positive energy. I feel that You're taking the next steps. You're like, people are just talking here. I'm going to go ahead and do it. So if this is in your personal life, people are talking, let's do this, let's organize this, and you're like, you know what, you guys just keep talking. I'm going to do the thing. You bring 10 people, have a project plan or a plan, and you get to work or assign things so that people get to work and things get finally accomplished. Right? So that's a quality. That's a leadership quality. It's like, you don't need to wait for anybody to tell you to step up. You don't need no permission. You're just like, I got this. I'm going to go. I'm going to get this sorted out. I'm going to get this organized. I'm going to get the ball rolling. I'm going to make it happen. Right? So that's the energy of leading the way. Number 12. So 1, 2, and 3 are coming through strong with this energy. And also you had the energy of dragonfly, which means that taking your rose-tinted glasses off, seeing things for what they truly are, being fair and square. That's very important too. These are two powerful qualities here, Libra, that you're going to lead with. One is being able to see things with clarity, and why not? Libra, Venus rules you, you're the air sign, and air signs always are looking for clarity. They dig up, they get data, they talk to people, and they get to the bottom of things. That's your dragonfly energy, And then dragonfly is also drama-free, and you'll lead the way. So going forward without drama, trying to work things out with people, organizing meetings if people are confused or have questions so that there's no pushback and there are no fires that are created in this process while you're leading. Right? So great energy here. And the last card for today, Libra, you have is a message from the universe. And this is number 31. So 3, 1, and 4 are coming through strong with this energy. Further, it says thorns. It says weathering the challenges ahead will bring in a new and positive future. So if you see the picture, it's very positive, even though it says thorns. The sun is rising right through this, which means that even though there is these thorns out here, which are looks like obstacles, because these branches are all intertwined. So obstacles, nothing is easy, and it was never easy, and obstacles could be people challenging you or people, causing some kind of friction or disagreements or some kind of delays and situations, whatever that is, something that holds you back, something that's not easy to navigate. But the sun is right out here shining through it, which means that things are going to get better. This is a rising sun. It's the dawn. So things are starting to get better. The dragonfly energy is all about leaving heaviness and, coming to the lighter side of things, right? You've been through it. And I feel that, people that go through these thorns and obstacles and challenges and all kind of delays and misunderstandings, they become way more stronger in spirit and energy, spiritually and physically and mentally, more resilient, more strong, more patient than people that have had it easy. So even though there might be challenges, just know that these are here to grow you to, your thorns are also protective energy. They're not just obstacles. So there is protection as well for you here. And you need to be protective of your own self as well, right? Physically, emotionally, spiritually, keep that inner core strong. Never let any situation derail you. Practice meditation, yoga, and be more flexible in terms of listening to people, adapting to situations, and at the same time, kind of learning, growing, and protecting your own self physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, everything, keeping that peace so that you're able to calmly work things out. And I feel that people who go through this energy are always stronger in character. It shapes, difficulties shape their character, They become so strong, they grow that muscle, they become so confident in their own abilities. They start trusting the process and universe better, and they're more open to expanding and growing because they've been through it so much. They know how to handle situations. So don't worry about this. Take it one thing at a time. You've got the support. The sun is shining bright for you. Things are starting to appear better. So, and I feel that with lead the way, things are opening up for you, new opportunities. Things are getting better. New opportunities are opening for you that are going to be so much good. Right under the dragonfly, it's going to make you feel nice and light and bright and happy. So Libra, those were your messages, and hope they resonated with you. Now moving on to the sign of Aquarius. So the first card you have for Aquarius today is the Hawk energy. And this is again an air element. You see an air triangle right on top. Hawk is the energy of, first of all, seeing from above, seeing things from above, having that sharp vision, and also like knowing exactly where to land, where to strike, and when to do it, because you have that top level view. Also, there is a little bit of a fire energy which is coupled with the air energy over here. I feel that for you, Aquarius, there is definitely something about seeing things that other people are not able to see because you are at a vantage point of some sort. Yeah, you're kind of seeing the whole landscape first, and then you're reacting or acting or taking the next steps. And even the current planetary alignments and aspects, especially you being the air sign and Mercury that rules your sister sign Gemini is retrograding, and it's in your 6th house. So Cancer becomes your 6th house, which is the house of work, of health, and Mercury is retrograding in that area of yours. So, when it comes to health, when it comes to daily work, with Mercury retrograding, there are things that need to be rechecked, revisited, and things like that, especially when it comes into your health sector or your service sector or your work sector, right? That's the 6th house. So Mercury definitely causes a lot of technical issues, a lot of clouded judgments in regards to health, work, service. So pay attention, if there is an appointment, make sure you make it to it, or if you're not able to go, make sure you will notify so that there are no additional costs that you have to bear in regards to that. Also, if there is some kind of communication in regards to your workplace, people, business days, or in regards to your health, make sure you're taking notes, you're, clicking the button, you are kind of following up on things and things like that. Because of the retrograde energy, there might be some slip-ups in regards to your 6th house energy. And also, when it comes to your 5th house, which is your 5th house is the Gemini house, especially for the Aquarius ascendants. 5th house is Gemini, and in general, 5th house is the house of creativity, which you will have the Gemini placement if you're an Aquarius ascendant. So Gemini is hosting Uranus, which is ideas and breakthroughs and creative moments and all of that, especially in your 5th house. So a lot of ideas that are out of this world will definitely be the theme for you, Aquarius. So a lot of ideas you will have, and also you will be tempted to react and act on those fast, because Mars is also in the picture here, especially in the 5th house themes of creativity, children, new ideas and breakthroughs and all of that. So you have to be very careful with your speed, because Mars is going to push things. So your right now advice is to, to look at things from higher perspective and to not act with speed. Because with your Hawk energy is also synonymous to the eye of the Horus, which is very divine energy. It's the it's the all thing, you're like 360 degrees perspective of things. And because you're kind of zooming out on the details on things, that's going to be your superpower right now, to be able to plan things by zooming out on it, by seeing the bigger picture. It's like if there was a policy change or there's an announcement in the market, right? And or there's a new company launch and you read up about it and you've been following it and observing it from, like a hawk perspective. You've been following actively watching its movements, its, things like that. And then they announce something. Maybe they announce a new stock price or an IPO, they launch it. And you've already done your homework in regards to that company. So you know where it's going to be in the next 5 or 10 years. And then you invest into that and you make money 10 years from now. It's because you have that high level view. You've been following it. You've been observing things. That's the energy of the hawk. So you put your finances into a place that is going to grow your investment, and that's going to benefit you, right? And that's going to add to your financial security. So things like that, the places where you invest because you have a high-level vision, a future vision of maybe 5 years or 10 years and things like that are going to benefit you at this money time. But again, you cannot rush it because Mars is an impulsive energy. So you cannot rush things. You have to observe. You have to watch from a vantage point, observational point, and then make the decision, then make the call. Now, some of you might also be getting into the details of things. You're able to see the details. You're able to see precisely because of the vantage point you have. And it's going to be different for each one if you where this plays out and how this plays out. It's like you see something because you're at a vantage point. And, it's like, for example, you seal the deal or contract, and then you revise the finances. You see, oh, there was an error here. You were overpaying them by a few $1,000s or by a few couple thousand. It could be more, could be less. But, there's a glitch in the financial commitment, and you spot that out early on, and you kind of revise it so that the funds are not transferred already. So things like that, maybe at workplace, you spot some error and you fix it, which saves your company thousands of money. So basically, you have that sharpness of your vision of thinking you're an air sign. So using, this is a very powerful vantage point for you here, Aquarius. I feel that you will land the right deals, the light point to say the right things because you're seeing, you are observant. You have the 360-degree perspective. You have the higher level vision. You have the future vision. You have the smarts. And also Aquarius is 11,000 energy. You're already like the geeks of the zodiac. So combining all of those energies, I feel that you're going to spot something, do something which is very futuristic, which has a lot of vision, which is, of course, your energy in general. But here it comes with a lot of observation. Don't be reactive. Don't be impulsive. But at the same time, it's like just take a pause. But do it anyways, because you already know what you're doing. You have that vision. But it's just that don't rush into anything. Don't rush into signing the dotted line. Don't rush into committing into something, whether it's at a professional level or at a personal level. Even in personal relationships, if you're committing to something, someone, just wait it out, just see, because maybe the wait or I feel something will reveal itself if you just wait it out for a few days. Things will reveal itself because this energy is not about speed. It's about knowing when to do it. It's like knowing when to strike because you're able to see things from higher perspective. So it's not about speed here. It's about the perspective. The next card you have, Aquarius, is number 45, and it says, such a curious dream. A complete Alice in Wonderland image, right, where Alice is saying here, dreaming while the tea in the kettle is getting colder. Further, it says grounding, returning to reality, coming home. So yeah, this is like coming back from a dream, which could actually be a thing for you, like you've been daydreaming or dreaming about something, and now you're like back into the real world. For some of you, this could be like coming home, either you're coming back from travel or something like that. Maybe you've been craving to be back home. For some of you, it could be that you're back from an extended travel. Others of you, it's just coming home to yourself. It's like returning to reality, It's like seeing the things for what they are. You had the hawk energy, the hawk at a height at a vantage point sees things, sees things at the ground level. What is the true picture at the ground level can only be seen from that height. So you see the reality only from that vantage point. For some of you, it's that as well, like things that were unclear or foggy or you didn't have enough information are now becoming clear to you because of some kind of a advantage point or higher self or higher perspective that you have taken to. Now, there are very important themes of retrograde and fogginess playing out, especially with the energy of Mercury being in retrograde, which is the ruler of one of your sister signs, Gemini. And also the planet Neptune, which is the planet of dreams and visions, is also in retrograde in the sign of Aries, which is your third house. Now, third house in general is ruled by thoughts, communication, words, understanding, and all of that. And Neptune is retrograde in that area for you, Aquarius. So some things might not be clear to you. Now, some things might be a little foggy, or you might misread things, you might misinterpret things, or you might feel like you did it, but you actually did not. Or you feel like you said it, but you actually did not. Or you feel like things people understood, but they actually did not. So some kind of similar themes around communication, writing, verbal, whether you not paying attention or people not paying attention to you and things getting kind of slipped up could be something that, is a theme that works out in the next few days for you, that plays out in the next few days for you. This can also be you kind of dreaming up things, like maybe you want to, maybe you see like a job position and you're like, oh, this requires a certain kind of skills, and you sign up for those and you realize that it's not really worth your time and investment, or you don't have the time for it, or you're not interested in it. So things like that could also come up for some of you. But it says here below grounding, which means that, yes, you need to take to some meditation practice or walking or do something that grounds your energy. You could have a little bit of fogginess or cloudiness or, on cloud nine, or thinking things, dreaming up things or visions, but to ground it, to make sense of it, to see like, is it even practical? Is it even true? Or is it just a fantasy? To tell the difference between the two, you will need to ground your energy because of, like I said, the Neptune and retrograde Mercury are going to play tricks in your understanding, in your visions at this point in time. So if fantasies need to go away, reality needs to step in. So for that, you need to ground either your energy or your day-to-day routines. You need to have a walk out in the nature, have some kind of meditation practice that keeps you grounded and seeing things for what they actually are. Now, for some of you, this could be that you were kind of dreaming to be a part of a team, or dreaming to be a part of a company, or do this, that, and third, which looked good on paper or in thoughts. But then when you see the ground reality, you're like, no, this is not for me. So some things like that might also shake you up, like, oh my God, I thought this was going to be great, but it's not. Also kind of things play out for you. It's like, for example, like my favorite example is of buying a house. So if you were planning to buy a house, it's like, you having your eye on a certain property, and then you kind of, you're all dreamed up about it. And then you're like, oh my God, I didn't even consider like the neighborhood, what goes on around that neighborhood. Is it like what kind of neighbors are there, and what kind of, what happens at the nighttime? How is it, how is the neighborhood at nighttime, and things like that maybe you do not pay attention to. And then you go there, you already start dreaming about settling in that house, whereas you go take another, and then you're like, okay, let me go take another trip. And in that, you figure that something's not right, or you talk to somebody, and you're like, oh, the person gives you some information that isn't sit well with you. Anything could be, something like that, where, it's like you've dreamed about something, but then you figure something out, and you're like, oh no, you know what? It was just a fantasy. Let it go. So for some of you, those kind of things may even play out. But ground yourself, stay, whether it's in your routines, have a set routine, or, spend time in the nature, or anything that is a fantasy or that seems like a fantasy to you. I feel that you should bring your head away from ground yourself. Sometimes our head is in the clouds and it kind of stores up those visions and dreams. And I feel that coming back into reality is going to be a theme for you. So I do feel that you're going to be either making teas or cooking on home chores, and all of those things might also be on the forefront for you. For some of you, this could be about taking care of yourself, so that you feel grounded, having some meditation routine rituals, or just, something that keeps you grounded, whether it's doing the house chores or cleaning up things, or, it could be for some of you that you were thinking or you were dreaming about something about your finances and you have to, sort out your finances, or maybe something in regards to your home. You have to do some home improvements which you thought was could be postponed, or it would be done this way and you'll have all those fancy features, but now you're going to cut back because it doesn't seem like a practical thing to do. So things like that might also play out for some of you. And the last card put to the Aquarius you have is a message from Cosmos, number 19. So 1, 9, and 2, 1, 9, and 20 are coming through strong with this energy. Further, it says luck. Below that, it says you are right to be strong and optimistic about the opportunities ahead. This is a clover. Clover is always good fortune. It's like the wheel of fortune. Things changing for the better, things moving in the right direction. These are blessings from the universe. These are the stars and the cosmos aligning for you. So either you're moving forward in creating a lot of opportunities that are coming towards you that will help you monetize, that will help you grow, whether it's in your career. This can also be in your personal life. There could be some kind of growth and expansion, and things, if were not right, might work positively out for you. So clover and luck is also about, you being ready to meet that opportunity because you've done the work, whether it's inner work, out of work, upskilling, connecting with people, praying to the angels and all of that. So a lot of positive energy here, surprises, things working out that you had not expected, opportunities coming to you that you had not expected, people talking to you, that you had not expected would help in some way or the other, or getting help at the right time, talking to the right people at the right time, being in the right place at the right time is also, are the themes that are going to work out for you, Aquarius. So I do feel it's a good time. Keep the hope up. The attitude of gratitude always draws in more success and more positive energy, more abundance, more happiness, more luck. That's how you attract. It's called the attraction power. So very good energy here, Aquarius. Those were your messages, and hope they resonated with you. So thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe and hit the like if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.